Hey everyone, my name is Danilo Petrovic.
I'm Ilya Marchenko.
I'm Denis Kudla.
I'm Evgeny Donskoy.
I'm Henry Laaksonen.
I'm Peter Torebko, and you're listening to the Game to Love podcast.
Hey, welcome back, tennis fans. Here we are with a new world number one to announce, and it seems that Novak Djokovic has been at the top for so long, I can't even remember when anybody else was even at number one. But we do have a new guy who is at the top of the mountain. It's that man. It's the Russian, the octopus, Daniil Medvedev. Finally, he gets to world number one. But in a little bit somber circumstances because
it's weird because it's on the back of not great results. I mean, prior to Rafa, he was playing well, but the big news is he did lose to Rafael Nadal last night in the UK. I'm not sure what time it was in Mexico. I know you covered the match. Well done for that. I tried to catch a little bit of your stream. Seemed good. But yeah, I know this news it's not really new news now because I feel like we've kind of missed the boat. Apologies, we've not brought this podcast a little bit sooner, but we're combining Medvedev becoming world number one with Nadal and of course Djokovic losing out all in one podcast here today. So it's going to be an action-packed one. Get your questions in the live chat and we'll read some of them out. But ultimately, 361 weeks Djokovic lasted at the top. Not obviously in a row. That's his overall 361 weeks. And now Medvedev, his first time ever achieving the feat. It is a big thing in itself because now whatever happens, he can say he reached the very top in tennis. And I know sort of if we're looking back to the last slam in Australia, I was alluding to the fact that for me, the Medvedev is the best player in the world right now. So I think he definitely does deserve sort of the place of where he is. But then saying that, Rafa's now played him twice, beat him twice recently. Does that mean Rafa is destined to be world number one again?
I don't know.
Is he on his route there?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. He's making me look like a right dipstick. Obviously, I thought Rafa's injury might get the better of him this year. And look, he's probably watched the pod and thought, sod you, Ben. I'm going to show you how it's really done. And he's undefeated. 14 matches unbeaten. But we've got to speak about Medvedev for a little bit. There's a nice graphic that they've posted. Obviously, I quite like this. The number one with lots of Medvedevs there screaming in. I'll zoom in a little bit just so you can see some of them in there, some iconic ones. The old thumbs up.
There's not many celebrations you get from him, so I'm surprised they managed to find so many.
I like the little ear one as well. So the thumbs up in the ear, that's like some of Medvedev's fantastic celebrations there. And as you can see, holding up the number one as well. So how long will he be at number one is the question. We've got obviously there the change around. Novak Djokovic lost to Yuri Vesely.
Let's talk about that. I think this is a good starting point because in essence, Medvedev didn't become world number one right now through his own tennis. It was because Djokovic dropped out. Djokovic dropped all of his points from the Australian Open.
Yeah.
And then in this most recent event in Dubai, he didn't really progress very far, so dropped out more points. Yeah. And let's be honest, him losing against Vesely is a massive shock.
Yeah.
Vesely was the qualifier. He plays a lot on the Challenger Tour. He's got a really good serve. I was fortunate enough to cover sort of the second set from the start of that. And I mean, I was blown away by the level of Vesely. I thought Djokovic played quite well, like he did in the round prior to Khachanov. That was a really good match as well. And he's shown some signs already in 2022 that he's going to be still a real good player and at the top of his game. I don't know, I can't really put it into words. I can't explain what happened with Vesely, but there's a reason he's been able to beat Agut, Shapovalov most recently, Djokovic, and I forget the other one. There's one more. And Cilic as well in straight sets. And he's beating all of these guys who are top players. So he's just in a really good vein of form. And I feel anyone he's playing at the moment is going to have a tough test.
Yes, I totally agree with you.
I would put it more on the fact that he played well than Djokovic played bad.
Yes, definitely. He's having an absolutely incredible time, isn't he, at the moment, Yuri Vesely? Really just coming back to some of his best form. Obviously, a lot of people will remember him for, I believe he knocked Djokovic out of Wimbledon was it 2000?
No, Monte Carlo, Ben.
Was it Well, apologies. He's got including
He beat him at Monte Carlo.
He beat him in Monte Carlo. So I was just trying to go through quickly on the Wikipedia.
Yeah.
I can't remember. I remember he had
he
some
beat
big
him at
scalps.
Monte Carlo, and we got Edgar in saying, Ben, Vesely button ASAP. I think he deserves one after this
Yeah, I
event.
think he needs one, doesn't he? Vesely, I might use your singing from the other day,
No,
mate.
don't use that.
It's
Just
pretty good.
Start from scratch, I think.
Okay, maybe I will, but maybe I'll be using a few of your melodies because I think there's some nice dulcet tones in there, mate. You're getting the crowd going with is he going to Wembley? I think he's going to the final. That's for sure. He's playing Andrei Rublev now, and if you can beat all those, surely he can beat Rublev too, can't he?
I mean, the bookies have Rublev 1.3, big favourite. I think Vesely could cause an upset. We could see some tie breaks again. And I certainly put it as a 50-50 match. I'm not sure if Rublev's in the greatest of form. I know he's having a good run recently, but certainly he could lose that match. So, yeah, I'm going to try and watch a bit of it. I know I've got sort of an engagement party I've got to attend soon, so I'm not going to be able to watch as much tennis as I'd hope. But if you do get the chance, guys, I recommend watching it. I think Vesely's going to give him a really tough match. Shout out to Gene in the live chat with a super chat saying, I'd rather prefer Rafa at number 1 than Medi, if I'm honest. Let us know why. What's the reason for that, Gene? But you've got to be looking at this. The next Grand Slam coming up, Roland Garros.
Yeah.
Make sure to enter the giveaway if you want the chance to win tickets for that. We are running one at the moment. Rafa's going to be the favourite. He is going to be the favourite for Roland Garros. And if he can pick up a few extra points, of course, he got to the semi last year. So if he can get anything further than that, he'll pick up extra points at Roland Garros, which you'd think he's got a good chance of being able to do, as long as he's not on the same side as Djokovic. Because look at Medvedev, he's not really a big threat on the clay.
No,
Zverev, we don't know if he's going to be there. He might get banned. We'll have to see what sort of state of affairs he's in.
Terrible.
Really, what other clay court competitors are there? Then you're looking down at the likes of Casper Ruud, Diego Schwartzman, Tsitsipas, Berrettini. Them guys sort of in their own little league, but I feel like Rafa has a little bit too much for them. Dominic Thiem coming back, I think the jury's still out of what sort of level we were going to expect from him.
Yeah, I think that was the thing. Sorry, I got a fact wrong earlier. It was Dominic Thiem that he knocked out of Wimbledon in 2016 of Yuri Vesely.
Yeah.
I knew there was a big name that he knocked out of Wimbledon, but I couldn't remember who it was. It was Dominic Thiem, not Djokovic.
Yeah, certainly not Djokovic.
Yeah, no, Djokovic on grass. Slightly better than Dominic Thiem.
It's a good one because I can instantly correct because I know that's just 100% not happened.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know what I got my facts confused. Apologies for misinformation. Don't want to be spreading that around. As you can see here, well, this one, I'll go back to this quickly because you can see there, Rafa, if he wins this tournament, he goes above Stefanos Tsitsipas, which is quite interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, because Tsitsipas lost. So we'll talk about that at the end, but he lost to Cam Norrie.
Yep.
So was that the semi-final? Yeah, the other semi-final he lost in Acapulco. So Cam Norrie, Nadal in the final. They played 3 times last year. The Nottingham Nadal versus the real Nadal. Let's see how it goes. But Rafa, surely he's going to be a big favourite. I think it's not. Listen, I'm actually. I may surprise you. I'm actually a bit worried that he wins that. I think Cam Norrie could really do something special.
Yeah, you got to hope.
Like it's not an easy match. It's not gonna. I'm not comparing it to the last 3 meters. I think this is going to be a close one. I would say it could be sort of as tough as a Medvedev. Maybe not that level because Medvedev is the best, but it's
more
certainly.
Though.
I think it's a real tough battle. It's not an easy match. A lot of people, the bookies have it one-sided. Everyone else is saying, "Oh, Rafa's going to breeze this final. He always beats Cam Norrie. Cam Norrie bottles his occasions." Since then, Cam Norrie. He won Indian Wells last year.
Exactly, and it's similar.
He's a different player now, and he's a lot more consistent. And I think the way he's been playing throughout this week, he just beat Tsitsipas, who played very well. Tsitsipas, so I think it's going to be a really tough match. I think I make it 55-45, which could shock you. Yeah.
Well, I think the one thing to remember here as well is Cam Norrie is getting better and better the more he goes. And it seems last year
I'm surprising so many people saying that as well, because I'm a big Rafa fan, but I'm just not delusional. I think Cam Norrie, the way he's been playing, if you watch his performances, you're just an idiot to really just to rule him out completely.
And you've got to remember as well, look at his points here down the bottom. Sorry if you can't see if it's small. If he wins, he goes into the top 10 for the first time ever in his career. And that's big incentive for Cam Norrie. And the courts are playing quite similar to the way the Indian Wells was. It was quite slow courts, I think, at Indian Wells. It suits Rafa here. It actually suited Norrie. I think that's going to make it even closer because Norrie doesn't mind the long rallies. He likes them as much as Nadal does. The only thing I'd say that Nadal has on top of him is the topspin forehand is much more a weapon than Cam Norrie. I mean, Norrie doesn't have the same weapon, but
he doesn't have the same weapons, to be honest, as Rafa. And just a bit on Rafa, because we need to talk about him. The way he's sort of started this year, 14 matches on the bounce, just flying, isn't he? I know we're going to maybe just stick to this. I know we've got one more thing on Djokovic, and we'll move on to Rafa. We've got Gene in the live chat. Cheers for another super chat. Must be payday in South Africa. He's saying Rafa has the all-round game to be number one and has nothing really to defend at the end of the year and can gain loads of points. Med only good on hard. I agree completely. You've got to remember with his injury, he missed a lot of events, which is sort of dead points. So he can pick up all of them points and be all the way near the top. As long as he stays fit, I'm gonna remain with this. As long as he stays fit, he's going to reach the number one this year. I think it's going to happen.
I was going to say to you as well, like an interesting question. Is it sort of like a poison chalice to go through a season and win so many Grand Slams? Because the next year, like if Djokovic say had only won like 2 Grand Slams, or maybe like if he hadn't won so many, would he not be still more secured at world number one for the next year? Like that type of thing. There's not as many points to defend. Do you know what I mean, though?
No, it doesn't work like that, Ben. I think you're not using logic. Because you've got to win. At the end of the day, you've got to win more than everyone else in that year to be able to do it.
No, but
by the time you get to the end of the year, it's the whole year.
Yeah, but he was so far ahead. He was like about 3,000 points ahead. Obviously, I'm exaggerating, but he was that far ahead that he didn't need to be that far. Maybe he could only just be like 100 points ahead.
I think but that's just the way it is. I like the system the way how it is, and I think it's just pretty
playing devil's advocate.
No, I don't agree with that at all. But let's move on to the next one because it's the last Djokovic one before we can talk about Rafa. And it's a really interesting one.
It's like, come on, get
No. The reason I want to say is because I've got a lot to say. I was talking about Rafa, and I want to get that out, but I've got to talk about this first. Okay. And it is a really good one I saw from Vladivar here on Twitter, saying it's guaranteed that Djokovic will resume as world number one on the 13th of March due to Medvedev dropping points from Marseille. So because Medvedev is not going to be playing Marseille, he's dropped the points of Marseille, which he won last year, and beating Herbert in the final. Yep. He's then going to drop them amount of points, which means Djokovic gets an extra week at world number one. So a lot of the Djokovic fans in the live chat may not know this, but Djokovic will be number one on the 13th of March for only 1 week. But then we're not sure how long that's going to last because ultimately, when you then go into Indian Wells, as long as both of them are playing Indian Wells, it will then be determined by who goes further. This is just me trying to do the math, so that's not. I've had no tweet to work this out, but in Indian Wells, it goes to who's going to go further to then regain number one, which makes it very exciting.
I'm
so hopefully we see Rafa at Indian Wells.
Well, he said he's going to be.
I don't think Djokovic is going to be at Indian Wells, or we don't know.
Miami. Well, we're not sure at the moment. Like, will he be playing them? We'll find out soon.
But you've got 3 guys who are in the top of their top players, at the top of their career, playing great tennis, and there's a lot at stake. And world number one could be going a lot of different ways, with Rafa sort of hunting it down. And at the moment, it's between Djokovic and Nadal, Djokovic and Medvedev. So let's see what happens. But whatever happens, Djokovic will get another week at world number one.
Yes, and just another one. Tick. Add another one to the list. 362. It's just amazing, really. Just keep on adding to that tally. Right, on to the next one. And this one, obviously, we've just been talking about the new world number one, Daniil Medvedev. And this was what Nadal came out and said. It's important. It's an important win against the world number one on his favorite surface. It means a lot. Now it's 1 a.m. and it's time to rest because tomorrow I have a very tough final versus Norrie. I have to be fully prepared.
Yeah. And I mean, it is going to be an extremely tough final, like I said. But on the semi-final, you covered it. How did Rafa play?
I thought he looked good. I'm not going to lie. I think that he came out the traps fast again. That's what he likes to do. He likes to try and sort of catch you napping a little bit. Medvedev was out of sorts for the whole first set. I didn't think he played well at all. I thought his decision-making was all over the place. He he was trying to come to the net because he wasn't having any joy at the baseline. His shots were falling in and around the service box. There was no
I think
depth.
he's come out and said he was a little bit fatigued. That's why
Maybe
he was doing that.
The shots were like not going deep enough, and Rafa's shots were going very deep, and they were keeping him on the baseline. Rafa was pulling out drop shots, which then eventually in the second set, Medvedev came to life, and we had 2 games in the match, which were about on the Rafa serve. I think it was about 10 minutes each game, and Rafa was faced, I think, 11 break points, but Medvedev didn't capitalize on any of these great break points, and it was a little bit of a sorry state because you thought as soon as he didn't happen the second time, it's sort of game over, really. Rafa had won the mental battle, and by the end, I think Medvedev just hit a few wide and
Mate, it's so solid. Rafa's just beaten Medvedev back-to-back. Australian Open final, 2 sets down. He comes back, wins in 5.
5 sets
he
in a
then
row.
goes Acapulco. 5 sets in a row, wins it and beats Medvedev, the world #1. Like, as he says, on his favourite surface. This isn't on clay. And just blitzes him in straight sets. I mean, how good is Rafael Nadal? This is his best ever start to any season. And as a Rafa fan, I've got to admit, I think this is my moment to start dreaming, because I am dreaming of things. We're going into Roland Garros. I can't see, with the way he's been playing so well, he's got to be such a big favourite. We don't even know if Djokovic is going to be there as well. It seems that all the tennis gods and everything's aligning for Nadal to have one of the most special years ever.
He's looking really good as well. I mean, this surface, I know he said on his favourite surface, meaning hard court. I don't think this is his favourite type of hard court, granted, because for me, as soon as I saw the way Rafa played in the early rounds and saw how the courts were playing, I was like, I think Rafa's going to win the whole thing now, because I saw he's the only one who's able to generate that much pace on a slow court to hit winners. And he's been doing it all week. And he was doing it again against Medvedev. And I think Medvedev was just struggling with the pace of the court a bit more. There's a few more drawn out rallies, and the serve wasn't as effective. I think Medvedev did about 7 double faults as well in the match. So, yeah, Rafa, it was, I've had him in the final. I should have really been thinking, but Zverev, we didn't know that was going to happen, did we? So
we got Gene in saying no, they can't even enter the US. I'm really concerned if he can play a full schedule. Most likely cannot because of the full vax policy. Yeah, we've spoke about it so many times on the podcast. It's going to be a very challenging year for Djokovic. We're not sure how many events he's going to be allowed to play. I know he's been apparently allowed to play in Rome, which is one confirmed.
Yeah.
But I've even seen sort of a U-turn with that, where people come Rome saying, oh, the rules are we're not going to give any special rules to anyone. So a very similar narrative to what happened in Australia. So it's all up in the air. Nobody knows until he's fully confirmed and we know he's there training, playing, and he played a match. Then I'll believe it, because even if you see him in the country, things could still go wrong, as we know from Australia. So we don't know, and we do podcasts. We just keep talking about things, but we don't know how many matches he's going to be allowed to play. We've got another Gene in the chat saying most ATP 500s, Roger 24, Rafa 22, Acapulco is crucial. It's another stat to sort of take into consideration.
I think it's quite interesting as well. I know that we've been sort of talking about the fact that Djokovic obviously had that amazing year last year where he won the 3 Grand Slams. There was people obviously alluding to the fact Rafa couldn't play Wimbledon, Rafa couldn't play the US Open. Now it's looking like it's roles reverse. Like Djokovic doesn't play the Australian Open. Yeah. Is Djokovic not going to play the French Open? Like, we're missing big players. Like these players are not being seen on the same courts together, and it's really sad. I'm hoping we do get to see them play a few more times in some slams, because
I mean, we should see, in my opinion, I'm going to put it out there, I think we will see, this is just something I'm throwing out there, an opinion. I think Djokovic will play all the slams this year. Apart from Australia, of course. He's missed that one. But I think the remaining 3 slams, I think he's going to be able to play in all of them.
Okay.
I'm just putting that out there as a prediction.
Move on.
And we've got Gene also. He wants us to talk about his pick, because he did pick Rafa to win Acapulco. Well done, Gene. I didn't have the faith. I went with Zverev. I did have Rafa in the final, and I did have him beating Medvedev as well, which is pretty crazy. But I thought that if Zverev was in the final, he would have won the whole thing. I thought he had a nice route to get there, but we know what happened with him. I feel like he still would have got to the final. I think it's a shame because I would have smashed the brackets this week.
Yeah.
I've done so well in Santiago. I've got Tabio winning that. He's flying. I've got Baez, Ramos going deep. I've called the women's final, Kontaveit versus Iga. I would have called this one if Zverev didn't drop out, but we don't know. He could have gone up to Norrie quite easily. So that's just if buts and maybes.
The less said about Guadalajara, the better. We'll keep that one away.
Yeah, Guadalajara. Well, that's just it was always a bit of a
everybody failed.
Who's going to win that? I still don't know.
Yeah, that's it. Well, we had the two previous finalists, wasn't it? Cerebro Stomo Balskova, that's Sloane Stevens Balskova, I think, in the final. So well, there you go. Anyway, there you can just confirmation from Jose Morgado, 3 times champion. Rafa Nadal stays undefeated of 14-0, beating future number 1 Daniil Medvedev 6-3, 6-3 to reach a 5th career final in Acapulco. It's pretty incredible 5th career final as well in Acapulco. He really does like it there.
He does, yeah.
I'm glad
I think he beat the last one I remember was a few years back. We beat Fritz in the final.
Yeah, you're right. And we saw Fritz lose. Who did he lose to?
It was just before we started the podcast, I believe, because he was in the office watching it or talking about it. He wasn't watching it. It was like 3 a.m. Didn't
he lose to Nishioka in this tournament? Or who did he lose to?
Yeah, he went out to Nishioka, Fritz.
Yeah, bizarre. Anyway, move on to the next one. Medvedev. Yeah, Medvedev. I think it might have been one before, but
one before.
Medvedev saying, if you want to beat Nadal, you have to play at your best level. And I didn't. I made too many mistakes and I failed to convert 11 break points. I was missing some energy today.
Yeah, I did touch on it at the start. He from what I've seen of the highlights, he did look a bit, not lazy, just wasn't covering the court. I feel like in Australia, there's a little bit more pop to his step. He was moving a lot quicker, covering the court a lot more. Here, he just seemed a bit flatter, a bit more tired. He was still generating break points, you've got to remember. And with a serve like him, he played well. It just wasn't enough. I mean, Rafa's, you can't, listen, I know I'm a big fan, so it doesn't really make sense if I'm saying it, but I think right now, on form, you've got to say Rafa's the best player in the world. The way he's playing is the best. Some people, I know I'm going to get loads of people in the comments saying, oh, don't be silly, he's not the best player. He's just out playing in a good bit of form. But his form's not lying. He just beat the world number 1 twice in a row. He's won 14 matches in a row against good opposition to start this year. And he's flying. You can't dismiss the fact that he is the best, most informed player in the world right now.
Yeah, he definitely is. And I think that it's with any of those big...
And we're not on the clay courts yet. We're going to the clay courts now.
I don't think it even matters what surface it is. When you've got those big players like Djokovic, Nadal, when they hit form, they're nearly unstoppable.
Yeah, but Ben, we've never seen this before when Rafa has started the year with 14 wins in a row. If he can go sort of all of these events, so all of these hard courts events without losing, and goes into the clay, say, I forget what the first one is. Is it Monte Carlo? He's obviously going to have to win. He's going to have to win Indian Wells first, which is obviously pretty tough.
Yeah.
But if he could get through that and win that as well and go into the clay courts without losing, we could be in for arguably the greatest ever Rafael Nadal season of all time.
I say avoid Madrid if he wants to stay on because that's where, Zverev might not be there though. That should be noted because obviously he's reigning champion there, and that's the fast clay court. Berrettini was in the final last year.
Berrettini could beat Nadal in Madrid. I think Madrid's the one he doesn't do so well at.
Yeah,
I would like to see him at Monte Carlo and Rome.
Yeah, for sure.
I think you should stick with them two and then Roland Garros. The problem is with that Rome, I believe, is just before Roland Garros.
Yeah.
But I don't think I don't know. It's up to him. It depends how his body's feeling. Maybe he may miss Rome and just do Monte Carlo. We know what Djokovic was doing. He missed a few events last year prior to a slam. I think with these guys now, they need to prioritize the Grand Slams. Yeah. And if that means they're not as young as what they were 10 years ago, if it means they might have to miss a Masters just before, just to give their body a little bit more recovery time, I think they're going to have to do that.
Do it for sure. I think listen to your body.
But it's not good for Rafa because he'll lose all of his points from Rome because he did win it last year.
Yeah, Monte Carlo didn't do as well at, did he? I think he did it at Rublev. He went out to, I think.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Anyway, on to this next tweet saying, after today's win, Rafa is now 74-73 versus top 10 on hard courts. Only 5 players in the Open era have a win percentage of at least 50% versus top 10 players on clay, grass, and hard. And is that the full list? Oh, there you go.
And Medvedev, and Medvedev being there shocked me because I didn't think that Medvedev on clay had over 50% win record against the top 10, but clearly he does. I've not fact checked this, but when I saw it, that's the one name I was thinking, really? Medvedev? I can understand all of the others. And in a way, I was surprised that Rafa didn't have it already, but he was even.
Yeah, very.
Go up a bit. He was 73-73, now 74-73 versus top 10 on hard court.
That's pretty mad, isn't it? Good stat. So many matches. It's literally hundreds of matches. It's just pretty crazy to think. I can't quite get my head around it, how many matches these top players who've been on the tour since.
I mean, if you said that someone's played a top 10 player 150 times across all surfaces, that's a pretty extensive career, and that's like a lot of matches. He's done that just on hard courts.
I know, it's ridiculous. I don't quite understand it, to be honest. It's one of those things that's so big that it's beyond my comprehension, I feel.
And Amino just helping us out, saying Med had a good 2019 clay season, so that's probably where he picked up a few extra wins. And I think last year, Roland Garros, he finally got some wins on the board as well.
Yeah, he did.
That helped.
I think he's finally warming up on the clay. So it might take a little bit longer. All right, do you want to go with this one?
Yeah, this is a bit of a take it with a pinch of salt because 9-7 in the fifth is a big Rafa fan. So what he will push an agenda. That's a little disclaimer just for you, Vanch, because he's the other side of the spectrum. You've got Pavi G with the Djokovic side. You've got 9-7 in the fifth. Very, very big Rafa fan, and we'll push that agenda. So take what he says with a pinch of salt. And he says, Rafa, as you know, I know this is a Rafa quote. As you know, I have better and worse days. The most important thing, whether it hurts or not, that I can play without limitations. And that's what I couldn't do last year and a half. I feel liberated and the foot hasn't been a problem. I enjoy every day. The foot allows me to play freely. And what I would love to say there, Ben, is have a long, hard look at yourself in the mirror, because you was going, Rafa's going to be struggling with injury. He's going to not be able to do this. He's not going to play this amount of events.
What do I know?
He's saying straight from the horse's mouth, he's feeling good. He's feeling fresh. He's won a Grand Slam. He's won 14 matches to start 2022. The foot pain will always be there, but he's in a very comfortable situation to be able to maintain it and manage it and play freely enough to be able to win matches.
Well, I don't need to be told again, do I?
Well, I'm going to keep telling you.
Bad, Ben. Come on, silly. Come on.
I can understand what you were saying, though.
Yeah, maybe it was... I don't know. I get so concerned with the way that the players have these injuries, and I shouldn't even play into the fact of thinking that people might stay injured, and I should just try and hope that they'll play their best tennis. But I don't know. It just looks so savage the way he was out for so long. It just looked a bit dire, and unfortunately, I didn't give him the credit for the fighting spirit. And in Australia, he completely won me over, and I have to say, hats off to him, mate. I've never seen...
We've got another Rafa fan in, Ollie, saying it's the best Rafa's played on a hard court in a long time.
That Chapeau match, I think, was... I said it to John during the watch-along early this morning. I don't think I've seen anything really like it. Like, someone playing through that sort of adversity on a court was like a bit humbling, really, to see somebody whose physically body was trying to shut down and they just refused and just continued to play. So... yeah, very, very good, very great stuff. Emotional times, right?
Yeah, we've got Gene in saying 9-7 and Pavi are the real goats. He loves
it.
it.
They're going to fight it out to the bitter end, I'm sure.
Yeah, I don't think they like each other, I'm assuming.
I'm sure they don't.
They're the other ends of the spectrum, big time. But appreciate the super chat, Gene.
Cheers,
and we've
man. Got
May in saying Ben is a Rafa convert, of course, with his new Rafa song. He just needs a Rafa cap. I'm trying to arrange for him to buy one.
Mate.
He's got a Rafa t-shirt now, but not the ones I've got, not the Nike one. He's got the GTL one. If you want to buy one of the Rafa t-shirts, they're available on the store, the shop below any of our videos.
You can go and get it if you want. If you want me to show you what it looks like,
you can save it for the next one. Save it for the final.
All right, that's just then I'm up against the Brit. I can't be having a Rafa shirt on and support. Maybe I'll have the Rafa shirt on and the Union Jack. Maybe that's the way to cover it. I don't know. Yeah. I can cover both bases. 3 a.m. that one again.
Yeah, but I never like supporting both. It's like a bit of a half and half scarf. Something
No,
I'm against.
I just went with the neutral background this morning just to be in respect for both. So,
Okay. But
well,
on Cam Norrie, nice little segue. British #1 has just made the final. It's one of his best matches of his career, Jose Morgado calls it, beating #4 in the world, Stefanos Tsitsipas, 6-4, 6-4, reaching his second career ATP 500 final in Acapulco. And it ties his best career win in terms of ranking. He awaits Nadal in the final. Can he beat Rafael Nadal?
It's a big
I genuinely put this as a tougher match than a lot of. I think it's up there with sort of Medvedev. I think he's that good at the moment. He's playing great, and I'm seriously worried. And I know I keep saying it, and people are probably thinking, "What's wrong with you, JG? It's Cam Norrie. He's going to fold like he always does." But he's just not. I'm scared. I genuinely think he could beat Rafa in the final. I make it very close.
I never thought I'd
I have a
see
bad
you
feeling. No, I have a
scared of
really bad
Cam.
feeling. Yeah.
It's one of those ones, eh?
I would have much preferred Tsitsipas. I think Rafa would have beaten Tsitsipas.
Yeah, well, it's a tough one because we haven't seen them play enough times to know. And Norrie's not the same person that has played Rafa in the past. I don't think now he's sort of
different. Yeah,
turning the corner, and to beat Tsitsipas, I think it's really, really showing.
He likes
what
his
he's
event
made
as
of.
well. He got to the final here before.
Well, there you
Did
go. I'm not sure. I don't think he got to the final in Acapulco before. But I know in Los Cabos he was in the final, but it's still around the same neck of the woods. So he does like it in those conditions. It was about, I think, 28 degrees when they're playing last night or this morning or whenever it was. So I think that was sort of part of where Medvedev was sort of struggling as well. It seemed like Rafa was coping with the heat a lot better. I mean, he was drenched from about the first ball that was hit, Rafa, but he continued with that. The shirt was like stuck to him for the whole entire match.
Right.
But
everyone's saying, "Have faith, JG. Don't worry, it's going to be fine." You got Terry in, big Rafa fan, saying it's Rafa. I know it's Rafa, but I have a bad feeling. I just have a really scary feeling. Kathy's on the same boat, saying Norrie's lefty worries me. I mean, in the past it hasn't, but I don't know. And when I saw the result, first thing I did, I said, "Oh no, I don't want it to be Norrie. I just was wishing it was Tsitsipas instead."
Well, there you go. I'm just going to pop this on the screen just so you can see where they last played. And as you can see, all the times they've played were all in 2021 last year. And
all straight sets as well.
One on hard court there, but it's not the same hard court. That should be noted. Like Cam Norrie has had his best ever career performance on a hard court like this one. So
it was pretty close. 7-5, 6-2, 7-5. I mean, I think Norrie takes a set. I think it's going to be. I'm going for Rafa to win in 3.
I think it's going to be.
Do you know what Norrie could do as well? I think Norrie's going to take a set 6-1 or 6-2 or something. He's someone who does that a lot. If you look through when he won Indian Wells, a lot of the results he was winning were by some distance. Like he's got an ability to win a set quick. And I think he's going to win maybe the first or second set extremely quick against Rafa. Hopefully Rafa has enough experience to be able to regain himself and win the match. But I'm certainly really worried.
It should be noted that the only set that he's dropped this week was a tiebreak to John Isner as well. So not really. You can't really hold that against him. Everybody loses a tiebreak here and there to John Isner. It's just part and parcel of playing him, I think.
Just part and parcel of life.
Yeah,
We've got
exactly.
Carlos in with a super chat. Cheers, mate, saying Rafa the GOAT. Well,
he would have played Zverev, remember? After
all these wins are helping the cause. They're helping the cause. We have... Yeah, true. We got Kathy saying Rafa co-founded the win predictor. Or confounded. I'm not sure what you mean there. Sir Rector saying easy for Rafa, no worry for Norrie. May say, am I doing reverse psychology? I hope so. And Gene with the super chat saying, come on, JG, Norrie's serve reminds me of the average WTA player serve and there's no real weapons other than fitness and shot tolerance.
It should be.
Is that harsh from Gene?
maybe a slightly.
He's ripping into Norrie there. He's not a big Norrie fan, it
I
seems.
don't. I think you're being a bit harsh. You got to remember, Norrie's just coming off the back of winning a tournament last week as well. He won in Delray Beach. He's undefeated in 8 matches at the moment. Coming into this final, Rafa's 14-0, Norrie 8-0 at the moment. And
how do you see the match going? I'll give him my prediction: Rafa in 3, Norrie to win a quick set. What do you think?
I'm probably going to be going 2 very close sets, but Rafa in 2, I reckon. But I could be wrong. I think that there's
so you don't think like Striker Bowles says 6-2, 6-love?
Oh no. I think there's going to be a 7-5 in the first set, similar to the Australian Open one, something like that. And then maybe a similar score in the second set as well. I think it's going to be close sets. And I think Norrie's going to be happy to rally. Norrie may even go up a break in the second set. And then he'll get broken back maybe at the end and then lose in straights, I think. Something like that. It'll be a close run thing. But I was just trying to look down to see if they've got any common ground. They both played Tommy Paul recently. Tommy Paul played Norrie in Delray Beach. Rafa played Tommy Paul. Had one of his worst performances against Tommy Paul in the second set in Acapulco. He went to tie break and he got broken 3 times in that set. But he did bagel him in the first set. Norrie 6-3, 6-3, pretty clean, just quite easy against Tommy Paul. So whether that's anything to go by, not sure.
I never like doing that much.
Tennis maths.
Tennis maths don't work. Rupak saying Rafa's won 18 straight sets and has won 9 straight matches heading back to 2020. So certainly really good form at this event.
Yeah, it's really good form.
Yeah, all in all, it's going to be tough. And there was another one where someone was saying, Tennis Rules saying, watch Rafa destroy your worries, JG. Yeah, let's hope so.
Well, it's I'm just happy to see 2 informed players. They are the 2 informed players meeting in the final, really. So it's how it should be. We didn't get to see Zverev. Zverev would have been the Giofchik, but then you saw what Norrie did to Giofchik, a breadstick and a bagel. So he just wiped him aside. And that's pretty much what you'd get from like a top player. So
I mean, he's got that in him. He definitely has that in him. I don't know if there's any more other news. Is there, Ben?
No, I think that's it, mate. I think that's all we've got for today. I've got a busy afternoon ahead. I'm not sure. I look a little bit pale. I think it's probably because I've been up early and not really had much sleep. But
I think it's just your lighting. It's
maybe.
Right. I'm just going to have a look at the bracket just to see who's leading this bracket. Maybe we'll give them a quick shout out. I think I've had a great week for brackets, if I'm honest. I'm doing great in the Santiago one, doing all right on the women's in Doha. With this one, nothing special. But the winner or the person leading currently is a few people. So we've got Razham05. We've got Son of Matt, as we know, one of our patrons. Edgar, shout out to you. And we've got Haggis66. Them 3 are at the top at the moment.
Interesting.
Edgar has Rafael Nadal winning the whole thing. I'm pretty sure they'll probably all have Rafa. Let's have a look. Yep. Razman has Rafa as well. And I'm pretty sure I've lost the other one, but I'm pretty sure the last one will have Rafa as well. Because I don't think anyone's got Cam Norrie there. Well done if you have. But it seems like it's going to go down to who has the most correct picks to win that one.
Exciting, mate. Well, let's wrap this one up. I'd say thanks to everybody.
Just last thing before we do wrap it up.
Right.
Kay here we're not going to be doing this watch along, unfortunately.
No,
for Kontaveit Iga. We don't have the time today. Would love to, of course. It's a special match. Maybe one day, if you want to help support the channel, join the Patreon, YouTube membership, and we'll be able to cover more matches. That's the only way we're going to be able to do it. So that's the only thing I can offer with that. In terms of prediction, I think Kontaveit's going to beat Iga in the final.
It's going to be close. I'm interested to see that they're head-to-head. Iga has won their last 2 meetings, and the last one was on hard court. So that's quite interesting. I'm going to say Kontaveit as well, though. I think that she's looked more impressive this week than Iga. Even though Iga has beaten Sakkari and Sabalenka, there's something about Kontaveit this week. Not sure what it is, but I've got a feeling that she's going to regain that form again that we saw at the back end of last year. It's like the Norrie effect.
Exactly.
He's doing the same.
Lexi saying the schedule tomorrow is crazy. A lot of good matches. We have some more matches or more tournaments beginning as well. I believe Raducanu dropped out of the next event. She's pulled out through injury, so she's not going to be there. We'll be doing draw previews for all of them, so make sure to join us on the podcast. If you haven't already, hit the like button on this video, subscribe if you're new, hit the bell to be notified when we go live, and we'll see you very soon for more tennis action on Game to Love.
See you soon, guys.